it's about, since 2015 till now, if President Goodluck Jonathan will still be celebrated and his quotes will be compiled for us to read and encourage us, it shows that as a leader, if you were a leader that upheld the tenacity of governance, you will always be celebrated. So my advice to leaders in office is that let's uphold the tenacity of governance. Let's do what will make us to be celebrated even after office. 10 years down the line, and his name still resonates. There are people that they will leave office after 1 year, nobody can even still remember their names. So it's better to do something good and to leave a good name than to leave with silver and gold. What they did was unconstitutional. Well, I don't know what I'm not in the House now, so I don't know what the rule book says, but as a parliamentarian, I will always stand with what the Constitution says. So if what happened was not constitutional, absolutely I stand by that. I stand with what the Constitution says, but like I said, I don't know what the rule book says now in the floor of the House. But the Constitution is what guides us as a people, which is very key. So, guiding you in the House, there are two important books: the rule books in the House and the Constitution. So, what the Constitution says is very important. And if they were guided by the rule books, I don't know. If they are not guided by the rule books, I don't know. But I stand with the Constitution.
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not gender biased. When you look at section 36 to 42 of the Constitution, it talks about the fundamental rights of every Nigerian irrespective of gender. But it comes, when it comes to politics, that is where we're having issues, where the inclusiveness of gender is always a problem. But the thing, I'm one person that strongly believes that a person born as a Nigerian shouldn't have any issue of injustice or inequality in terms of political activities, because we're all equal before the eye of our Constitution, and because the Constitution has given us that right, then there shouldn't be any discrimination. But again, political will should be one thing that's supposed to be played on. If you looked at the present the former president of Nigeria, which is Jonathan Goodluck, doctor. During his term, I think he gave us almost about 33% of the women in his administration where they stand as ministers. And the performance index is there for ones to see. But after that, we thought that probably it will have been better. But I think it started again with Olusegun Obasanjo, our former president, where based on the constitutions that every state should have a representation in the Federal Executive Council. Unfortunately, the 36 that came in were all male, and he now has to come out with a regional representation where he brought in about 6 female to make up, to have a human face to that extent. But I think if you looked at it, it's probably the political will that those that are saddled with the responsibility of good governance should come. When you talk about injustice, why do you segregate gender when the Constitution of Nigeria said there should not be any gender discrepancy? So the thing is that from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top, from the family, from the religious angle, from our government, there must be a political will where women will be given the chance to exert their own contribution to national building. If you now said, as a woman, I don't have a right. And even if you looked at it on inheritance law, it has now been concluded that a woman has every right to an inheritance of either her husband or her father, which obviously the religious angle or the the cultural angle of other segment of Nigeria do not accept that. But now it has been ruled by the Supreme Court that a woman has a right to either her parent, her father's, or her husband's inheritance. So all what we're saying is a political will. We are not there to fight the men. We're there to be in support or in hand to see how we can build a nation where all and sundry will be accepted irrespective of our gender.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion has become a global conversation about social change. And you look in our societies today, you see, based on the presentations that are made by our eloquent keynote speakers, you saw how diversity, inclusion, and equity is very critical in development. You see, she did mention about 10% of our GDP are affected by lack of inclusion. And if you look at our society, you will find out that everybody feels one form of marginalization or the other. So we organized this colloquium to amplify the voices of those people who feel marginalized, that financial inclusion and all sorts of marginalization could be addressed to create enough awareness to this particular issue of DEI. So that is why Haske Satumari Foundation also dealing with different types of people with disability, people that feel marginalized, either gender inequality and all those issues that are very prevalent in our society, is for us to arouse the consciousness of the people to see that we all deserve to be treated equally. Our agitation for equity is not to give people the benefit to feel that they are entitled, but we want people that deserve to be heard, deserve to be included in the processes to be included, so that we have a fair, equitable, and just society. Thank you very much.